And it is KillingTime.tv live. That's right. We're back again. If you're like, hey, you're just flooding our inbox with all these things, you're right. We've got a lot of things to say, and we're going to pack them in right now because we want to keep up to date. I as actor, the man who is known as the man who refuses to take responsibility for anything that goes wrong anywhere at any time. With me, as always, is the man who refuses to eat plastic fruit because he knows it's plastic. It's just Bob.
I need some plastic.
You got to say something.
Plastic fruit, plastic fruit, plastic fruit.
If he doesn't say anything on the Google Hangout, I'm not running the camera, so he's going to just sit there in the box. So just deal with it. All right.
Plastic fruit.
Killing Time is a show where we search for entertainment that does not suck. And we have seen some real crappy things. So you will see this at some other time. You will see our review of sorts of Supergirl.
Oh, yes. Oh,
which
yes.
I fell asleep during.
Yes, and I tried to carry it while you were asleep.
So we'll get to that at a later time. See, we're just going to keep... There's a lot of teases here. We got a lot of stuff that's already in the hopper. So actually, it's on an SD card over there. Yeah. So I got to take care of that. What was the other movie we watched with it?
What was it? It was Captain America.
Was it Captain America? No.
Captain America 1990? Yeah, 1990, Captain America.
Oh, it wasn't something as bad as... I mean, that was funny. Anyway, you'll find out later, I guess.
Yeah.
Today, we're not going to be reviewing Captain America, which is kind of hilariously bad. And Supergirl, which is horrendous. As in,
one of the worst movies ever made.
Cannot keep your attention.
No.
The book about Superman, the one I was telling you about a while ago in an older episode, Superman versus Hollywood. Read that book, which is about 500 pages. Read that book for the bit on Supergirl, and it's way more entertaining than that movie will ever be.
Yes.
Today, not about super people. We're going to be talking about The Handmaid's Tale, a new Hulu original that just finished its first season. I'm only about 3 episodes in, and just Bob, you're up to...
I finished it. Yeah, I just finished it yesterday, and there's a ton of buzz on this show, saying how amazing it is and how it's can't miss, and people are power watching it and everything. And I think I'm slightly traumatized because I was forced to read the book in high school. And I didn't like it at that point.
The book is from 1985, if I read that right, which means it's a pretty old book.
Well, it wasn't old at the time I read it. It was considered a new classic.
A new classic. So somewhere between the ages
of... classic. It was... I was like 1995 when I read it, so I was only 10 years old at that time.
It must have been good because it only took it about 30 years to have a TV show. And I've watched the first 3 episodes, and it is a bit traumatizing if you're just watching the show because you're like, hey, I like Elizabeth Moss and stuff. I'll watch her in this. And, normally you think of Elizabeth Moss, you're thinking Excedrin commercial, right? Yeah, that's right. She's the girl from the Excedrin ad from a long time ago. And while that tiny piece of work is only 30 seconds long, she takes you through all these different emotions. Handmaid's Tale, a little darker than the commercial.
A lot darker than the commercial. It's a lot darker than Mad Men, and that was a pretty dark show at times.
And also it stars the girl from Chuck, whose name escapes me, Yvonne something.
Ron Stravinsky or something like that.
Yes, if I have the mental block on her last name. She's in this show as well. You've seen the whole season. I'm not worried about it being spoiled. Also, the book is 32 years old.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's spoilering areas in this. So what do you want to say about the first season?
From my memory, they followed fairly close to the book. Obviously, there's little differences along the way that I probably don't even recognize, but it seems to start the same way, middle the same way, end the same way. And it's dark. It's kind of unnerving to think that the world could become that, but then you think about it and you think the world could absolutely become that. And that's what kind of tipped me off during the show.
We've forgotten to mention the premise of the show. So in this near future, as far as I can tell, there is an America, the United States of America, that is no longer the United States of America that you know. The U.S. is now down to 2 states, and the rest of the country, the 48 states, have been taken over by some other government that I don't know. All the women on, I don't know if it's just the planet or in the states. I assume it's on Earth.
Planet or have stopped being able to have kids.
Right. So if you've seen Logan, you've seen no mutants, same kind of thing, except there's no children of any kind. I've also heard things of No Country for not No Country. What's the other one called? Children of Men. Yeah, thank you. And there's a lack of children being born. So in this new society, women who can have babies are essentially property and subjugated to other people, and these are their handmaids. And so there's like there's a hierarchy. There's like the low ones that are the handmaids. Then above them is like a mistress, I guess. And then she's related to some guy, and that guy is having kids with everybody. So it's kind of like this tiered system, and it's all about being faithful to your faith. And it's, am I explaining everything right so far?
Mm-hmm.
And
yes, and I don't know. It's strange, and you feel like, how can this be happening? But then it just makes sense that crazy, really, really religious people might interpret Bibles and things this way. And yeah, hard to explain. Elizabeth Moss is good in the show, though. I mean, she's a good actress, so she does pull things off, and I really like her voiceover through the course of the show. It's the only thing that really gives it any kind of, because it feels like everybody's just, miserable. Even the people who seem like they're the high class seem absolutely miserable.
Yeah. So when I was watching or at least seeing the previews for it, not the previews, I just saw the stills on it. I just thought, okay, this is just a period piece of some kind. It doesn't look that interesting to me. Then I read about it. Then I watched a couple of episodes, and then I find out, oh, this is the future. And there are actually scenes of what looks like modern America, where Elizabeth Moss and her friends are working out, and she's going to her job, and they're having kids and like acting normal, like what normal life would look like in modern America of any kind. And then
the flashbacks.
We get them only in flashbacks, because we are now firmly set in the world of this. I don't even know what the government is called. Do you know what it is?
Gilead. I mean, the state is Gilead, but and it seems like this all happened in a very, very short period of time. Yes. Like the whole thing happened in, because I gauge it by the age of her daughter. It seems like everything was cool when she met her, the guy she was with, and had her daughter. And then by the time the daughter was like 5, 6, they were running away because she was about to be taken as a handmaiden. So within the course of 6 years, everything fell apart, it appears.
There's a great scene where, again, everything is normal, and Elizabeth Moss, and this will be in a spoiling kind of thing, so we're spoiling a little bit here. Elizabeth Moss is leading her regular life, and then all the women in the job are fired.
Yes.
And I'm watching this like, okay, wait a minute. This is okay now? So they fire. At first, I thought it was firing just a bunch of people. Then they find out it's all the women, because women are no longer allowed to hold jobs.
Yeah. Because
the new regime has said, this is what we're doing. And that's what happened in one of these scenes. Yeah. And it's just kind of this mind-blowing. I know there's other countries out there that have seen regime changes where laws have changed very quickly, where the top to bottom, everything has been turned upside down. And it's just this bizarre thing where you have to force yourself to confront. There would be like a day at a time where everyone's saying, it's 12:30, you're not a person.
Yeah. It's like the opposite of Wonder Woman. Everything Wonder Woman does for gender equality, this does the exact opposite.
Yeah, actually, yeah. This is the inverse. This is just flat out.
This is the absolute. It's like it's like women all of a sudden go back to. I mean, we're talking. America was even founded. These women are absolute slaves, pretty much, all of them.
Yeah, and it seems that the mistresses are semi-cool with it because they're above. But even though they're above, there's like 4 or 5 handmaidens below, and that's a very weird. There's a weird ritualistic everything involved with this.
Yeah. Yes, it's cult-like, but religious cult-like.
Yes, I don't want to give anything away too much because there's some really shocking visuals just in the first 3 episodes. I'm saying because I've only seen the first 3, and the reveals are quite good. So it's well acted. I think it's.
I think it's well shot too. I like the mood and the tone of it. You know, the music, the tone, and it's good. I mean, it's definitely it's a thought provoking show, and I think that's why there's so much buzz about it. People talk about it a lot. You know, imagine if this happened. What would we do? What would you do in her situation? You know.
Did it sustain that kind of pace for the full 10 episodes? It was only a 10-episode season.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't feel like there was a slow episode or a really fast episode. It felt like the plot moved along in each episode. But what's going to be interesting is they got a season 2. Season 1 ends at where the book ended. So
now they got
I don't
free
know where
reign.
they're going from now. Yeah, they got free reign. I think the author is a consultant, so I don't know where they're going, but I'm interested to see.
That is really good to know. I didn't know that the first season tracks with the book at 100%. Essentially.
Yep, tracks with the book. Yep, 100%. I mean, the ending of the book is the same as the ending of the last episode.
Wow, so that means if you wanted to, you could be one and done. So 10 episodes of it. They're about an hour long. I don't recommend watching it at work, like I tried. Now, thankfully, at my job, because sometimes it's my job to watch these things, I had to watch this, and I was just kind of like, huh, okay. If anybody asks me, I'm like, this is critically acclaimed. All right? I have to know about this.
What's going on?
Yes. I need to know if it's worth recommending a Hulu original, because it's a Hulu original. That's another thing. So, like, we're seeing a lot of great programming that you would not find on ABC, NBC, Fox, or the traditional networks anymore. That's just, I don't say that's over with, but the fact that a show like this is doing so well for Hulu, and they programmed it quite well at the right time, because they were releasing it once a week, not a binge watching thing. So it kept the buzz going. And between the first and last episode, they introduced their new live TV service. So that got a lot of people talking about Hulu just in general. So this is a really intriguing kind of world we're living in, because 10 years ago, there's none of this. We're just watching network TV, and the best thing is on HBO, and maybe it's on Showtime, maybe it's there. But now there's this really high quality show on Hulu, and I think it's worth like the $9 it costs with commercials. I don't use the commercial thing because I want to. But definitely,
I pay the extra money, so no commercials. I don't mess with that.
All right, and on that note, we're gonna go and thank our folks at patreon.com/IAS who are supporting this show. This time, we're gonna do this order: Michelle Sturgeon, Paul Dow, Joe Goulad. I always mess up your name. I'm really sorry, Joe. And Alan Char. You guys are awesome. They're supporting this show. They get a video credit because they are helping us out really just a lot. So thanks so much for supporting our show. And if you're wondering, hey, how do I get my name spoken aloud? Well, you could just do it yourself. I'm okay with that. If you want it on this show, just go over to patreon.com/IYAZ. Support the show. You don't need to reach this crazy level if you want to support the show in any which way. If it's just sharing the link, that's great too. So thanks for that. And we might be back with another episode on Cars 3, the final chapter. So long, near future people.